Hey, this is Dr. Berry. Let's talk for just a few minutes about the secret for making marbled beef, foie gras, and fat humans. Now, on the surface, these three things may seem unrelated, but in fact, they are not unrelated. You get all three by doing exactly the same thing. And I'm going to tell you the secret about how to make all three of these things in this video. If you enjoy videos like this that help you with human health and nutrition and optimization, then consider clicking that subscribe button right down there. It's right there. And click the little bell right beside it. So every time I have a bright idea, you'll be one of the very first people to know. Now, let's talk about this. Now, we all know what cows are, and we all know what cows eat. They eat grass, and they've eaten grass for hundreds of thousands of years. And when cows are grass fed and grass finished, they don't really have that much marbling in their meat. Marbling is basically extra fat that's been put into the meat, and it makes ribeyes taste delicious, but it's probably not that healthy for the cow to have all that fat in their meat. And so, how do you get that? Well, you take a cow who loves to eat grass, who knows to eat grass, and you lock him up in a feedlot and you feed him lots of processed grains. You feed him wheat and lots of corn ground up and with other things thrown in there. But the majority, 75% of feedlot feed is some combination of processed grains. And that makes the cow gain weight, lots of weight, and it puts beautiful marbling in the lean meat. And that's what we like to see in the grocery store cooler. And that's why farmers do that. Farmers have figured out this secret. And so that's why they do that. Now, what about foie gras? That's the ground up fatty liver of a goose that's delicious, put on various different vehicles to get it to your mouth, but it's delicious, and it's basically fatty liver from a goose. And so geese have livers, all of them do, but geese typically in their natural habitat run around and eat bugs and grass and beetles and worms. That's what their natural diet is. And they've been eating that for hundreds of thousands of years. And so if you want a goose to get fatty liver, you don't feed him bugs and worms and grass. You lock him up, and sometimes you even shove a tube down his throat and you feed him lots of grains, lots of processed grains. That's how you give a goose fatty liver to then produce foie gras. Did you know that? Yeah, that's how it's done. And it's actually a process called gavage when they stick the tube down their throat, and it's very cruel and inhumane. And I think we probably shouldn't do it, but foie gras is very tasty, and so therefore many humans demand that. And the farmers know the secret about how to give a goose fatty liver. Now, what about making fat humans? If you'd like to make a fat human, then what you're going to do is you're going to take this human being that's been eating fatty meat and vegetables and occasionally some fruit. You're going to take that human and you're going to feed that human a predominant diet of processed grains. And that will make the human have marbling in their muscle, just like the cow, and also can produce fatty liver, just like in the goose. And that's how you make a fat human. And so now the secret's out. If you want to put marbling in beef, if you want to give a goose fatty liver, or if you want to make a fat human and give that human fatty liver, it's all about processed grains. And so it confuses me why many of our health experts in the US and other parts of the world recommend lots of processed grains, and they'll even call them whole grains, right? Not really whole grains very often, but even if you did feed a human a diet very high in processed whole grains, you're still going to tend to make that human gain weight and to deposit fat in their liver. And so this is why you may have seen, if you've ever seen a grass-fed, grass-finished steak, there's not a lot of marbling because that cow's naturally very lean because that cow's been eating its ancestrally appropriate diet, which is grass and leaves. And if you take a goose and just let him eat bugs and worms and grass, he won't have a fatty liver. He'll just have a normal goose liver. And that's exactly the same reason why if you take a human being and you feed that human being lots of fatty meat and veg and a little bit of berries, that human just naturally stops being fat and gets rid of their fatty liver and goes back to being a normal size, healthy human. So now you know the secret. And if you know anyone who would like to make a fatty marbled steak or a fatty goose liver or a fat human being, then you should maybe share this video with them, or share it on your Facebook or in your groups. Or actually, probably more likely, if you know someone who's already fat or has a fatty liver and they'd like to reverse that condition, then this video will help them understand what not to do in order to reverse those conditions. Now, if you enjoyed this video, please consider sharing it on all your social media. That helps me help more people kind of understand the common sense and the anthropology and the archaeology and the science behind why we have an obesity epidemic in the U.S. and other parts of the world. I, as you can tell from my videos, am never going to get any money from big food or big pharma or big medicine. And what I like to do is I like to help people. And therefore, I like for people to help me. And so rather than get a big check from some big food corporation that I've sponsored one of their products, I would much prefer to get a buck or two from you by you clicking on my Patreon link down below and signing up. It's very quick, and you can throw a buck or two my way so I have more time to make videos just like this. All right, this is Dr. Berry. I'll see you next time.